Hey guys, it is Matt here and welcome to the unboxing of the 14-inch MacBook Pro. Now, there's going to be a lot to go over here since this is a completely new redesign of the outgoing MacBook Pro, and that means there's a lot to cover. So, naturally, this is just going to be an unboxing video and a first impressions video. Now, per the usual MacBook unboxing experience, we have our MacBook on top and a little literature packet right beneath it. Now in this literature packet, we have a quick start guide. Basically, this is just going to show you where the ports are, the power button, Touch ID, etc. We also have Apple stickers, and for the first time ever on a MacBook, black Apple stickers, and I think it's safe to say Apple means business. Now funnily enough, I also did think there was something else in this package, but it turns out it's just like a cardboard backing of some sort, so don't be fooled. Next up, we have the virtually identical power adapter. Now, this power adapter is pretty much unchanged from the previous models. It's made of pretty much the same exact materials that I could tell, at least, and it has the same removable AC adapter that you could replace with a country-specific one or an extension cable. And it also has a USB-C cable port on the front, just like the outgoing model. The only real difference here is that it's a 67 watt USB-C power adapter. So it's really just meant to support the new higher wattage M1 Pro and M1 Max MacBooks. Now it's worth noting that the higher end models of either MacBook will come with a higher wattage power adapter that will support fast charging out of the box. You can purchase that power adapter on the base model, but it will cost extra, and quite frankly I didn't really think it was necessary. Next up, we have the USB-C to MagSafe 3 power cable, which is wrapped in a really nice woven material and has USB-C on one end and MagSafe 3 that connects magnetically on the other. Moving on to the star of the show, we have the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. Now I've got to say, it's not as thick or as heavy as it looks, but it's definitely heavier than the outgoing model. I think a lot of that has to do with the shape and the non-tapered edges, but quite frankly, there's something kind of friendly and welcoming to the more gentle edges on this model, but I think from an aesthetic point of view, I actually still prefer the outgoing model. Now we're going to notice that it also has much more substantial feet in both diameter and height. Of course, you can still open up your MacBook with one hand, and upon doing so, it'll automatically turn on and you'll find the new keyboard and new Pro Display XDR, which just has razor thin bezels. And I've got to say, first impressions on this thing is that it is incredibly bright, vivid, and just sharper than ever. Of course, we can't do an unboxing of this MacBook Pro without at least taking a look at the new notch that houses the FaceTime HD camera that's in full HD, as opposed to 720p in the past. On the front, we'll find the MacBook Pro logo is no longer there, like it was on the previous generation, and it's because it's now been placed on the bottom. Next up, we have the new Magic Keyboard, which hasn't really been redesigned. Rather, Apple has just omitted Touch ID and put it on a really nice anodized black background, which admittedly I was a little torn about, but it just looks great and makes the backlight pop. Apple has redesigned the Touch ID sensor though, and that thing hasn't really changed in terms of performance. It's just a matter of updating the design language to match the keyboards that launched with the iMacs that launched earlier this year. Moving on, we have the ginormous Magic Trackpad, which still uses haptic feedback to simulate the way it feels to click on a trackpad, and is pressure sensitive, that allows you to access functionality depending on the context. Moving on to ports, on the right side, we're going to find 3 ports. An HDMI 2.0 port, sadly not 2.1, and a Thunderbolt 4 port, as well as an SD card slot. On the left side, we have a MagSafe connector, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and a new higher impedance headphone adapter. Now that we're done with the ports, that about wraps up this unboxing, and I have to say, everything has just blown me away, from the ports to the display to the keyboard. It's just beautiful, and I'm so pumped to put this to use in my work and on my video editing, and I'm really excited to bring you the review of this computer on this computer. That about does it for today's video. Now, bear in mind this isn't a full review, it's just an unboxing and first impressions. So I do have that coming in the near future. If you're interested in seeing that, maybe consider subscribing, and if you like this video, like it. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.